Ha 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 ha! That was still. Hold on. Well, that was still a little bit less. A little bit less. That's more like it. That's more like it. That's right. Your eyes do not deceive. It is not Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. U.S. Central Time because it's 7 o'clock somewhere in the world, probably. Well, most definitely. I don't know where that place is, but it's not here. We see it is Thursday, and it's the middle of the day, and I have acquired some spare time. Hold on. I have acquired some spare time, and I'm going to use that spare time to finish something I started over a year ago. We won't finish it today. We'll probably finish it tomorrow. But then all that's left is just popping it into, frankly, just Premiere and making a bunch of sound. And that should not take an entire stream. Whatever the case, welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm your host, Isaac, MCCanary, pronouns all. I have a little bit of time. I have a little bit of extra time to do a little bit of animation. So we're going to do some animation today. Still going to do some stuff later, too. We're going to try this again. This is not going to be necessarily the norm. However, it is something we're going to do because I got a little bit of time. I got a little bit extra time. That said, in the next couple weeks, pretty much the next 2 weeks, if I do stream during the day, it will only be art stuff. It will only be art stuff because I got a lot of art stuff I need to do anyways, and I'm kind of determined. Honestly, as much as I like Path of Titans, and as much as I like a lot of games to play just on my own, I need to focus on my art stuff. If I'm going to do something by myself, I got to focus on art stuff. So, whatever the case, we're so close to finishing this, and I have to preface saying I almost had a heart attack getting the file opened because when I opened the file for this animation, it looked wrong. It just looked wrong. Almost had a moment there where I was like, Adobe, you didn't just do something that deleted a year and a half's worth of work, did you? Thankfully, I closed it and reopened it, and it didn't. That said, I really feel the timer now. We get this done. We take our time, but we get it done before Adobe decides to eat it because it got hungry. That's the real trick. That's the real trick we gotta watch out for is make sure that Adobe doesn't eat your work because Adobe gets hungry sometimes. Adobe gets hungry sometimes. But we've made it pretty far. We've made it pretty much 3/4 of the way through, which means solidly I think it's gonna be 2 more sessions no matter what. We've got about 200 frames, i.e. 100 frames that I need to render, which 50 frames in the next 2 days is not gonna be that bad. Actually, I was getting about that already. And especially the tail end is gonna render really quickly. It's gonna be very little that I actually have to render because you have all of this, right? And then as she walks off screen, she's going to have fewer and fewer portions of her that I'm gonna have to render. So that'll go fine and easy, and that'll be nice. Uh, that said, this has been a really good experience. I've really enjoyed actually doing the animation. There have been ups and downs, as there are with always, but I'm really happy with how people have received this animation, just me doing a work in progress and sharing it. It's motivating me to definitely take on more animation. Like I said, I think I will take a break from a big animation like this for a while. I'll go back to doing just some basic illustration for a while, and if I do come back to animation, it's going to be shorter stuff. It's not going to be this. It's going to be like 2 or 3 second animations for a while, 10-second animations if I'm really feeling into it, but it's not going to be as long as this project. This project was kind of a test. This project was kind of a test on if I could do this, and the answer is actually yes. The truth is actually yes. If you give yourself an amount of time to accomplish a task, you will actually accomplish it. Now, if you give yourself an amount of time if you restrict the amount of time to do something, it'll become less likely to achieve something. It's not impossible, but there is something to be said that restrictions need to be used responsibly. When it comes to time, you need to know actually how to get the most out of it. You can't just put a restriction on time. You actually have to understand time as a resource. That's it. That's just a fact. And actually utilizing the resource correctly and not just saying that time needs to not be wasted. That's not helpful. That's not helpful for anything. That's not helpful for production. So you need to at least understand, like, reinforce that. Maybe think of it less of this is less of get this done in this much amount of time, and start thinking we have this much time to accomplish this much. How much can we get done in this much time? That's always like been my general thought process when I have to think about stuff like that. Is it's not about I need to get everything done. It's about how much can I get done. Because really, it's very, very, very difficult, not kind of impossible to actually get everything done. That's why you have to be willing to make cuts on certain things. That's why production, you have to cut things off sometimes and just say, well, we got this far. That's fine. I think that's still totally okay. Here. What do you think about this for a second? Yeah, this is more. Like I said, this is the render pass. I'm probably not going to take another pass at it. Like, I might look for little things, but I don't think I'm going to take another pass at this. I'm just as finished with this as you could possibly be, honestly. And not because I haven't enjoyed working on this. It has been very enlightening. Maybe the most enlightening thing is knowing that I just am capable of actually doing it. Truly, that's like the most enlightening thing, right? Is like that you can do a thing. Knowing that you can do a thing is like, oh, I've been able to do this the entire time. I have been able to do this the entire time. The thing I had to learn, and the thing I recommend for anybody, is realizing not that. I think the limitation I struggled with the most doing this was trying to figure out that I needed to learn to give myself enough time. You do have to learn that. I think that's actually something that's really difficult to learn when you're building any kind of skill, especially like this, is to be able to realize that you got to give yourself the time to accomplish something sometimes. And that's sometimes more important than even how quickly you can do it. If you can't do something quickly, at least do it. Then you have to reframe how you're that's weird. Why did I do that? Oh, I might have forgot to fill it. That's why. Um, if you're not able to do something as quickly as possible, you might as well at least do it. You might as well give yourself the time to do it. You might as well you might as well allow yourself to have the time to do it. Give yourself the amount of time you need to accomplish something, I guess, if that makes. Don't don't pressure yourself if you don't need to. Weirdly, don't pressure yourself if you don't need to. Because it is a bit of a skill to learn to be able to actually accomplish something under a degree of pressure. As somebody who at least believes that they've learned that to some degree. Like that, I still do think I do actually work well under pressure. I've at least also learned, hey, you don't always have to though. Though you don't actually always have to do that to yourself. Sometimes you could just be like, I'm just gonna take my time. You willing to give yourself some just like time? Things are gonna take time no matter what you do, and especially if you're learning, you cannot learn faster than what you're capable of. Always remember that. You learn at the pace that you learn at. Everybody learns at different paces, but it doesn't mean, you know, doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It just means that you learn at a different pace. Frankly, it just kind of is do whatever you do, do your best. The way that I learned that I could do this is I just kept trying. I just kept trying. And I stopped caring about how long it would take. Truly, I do think that's something that helps a lot, especially with learning how to like make things, is if you care about how long it will take you to make something, you are actually putting yourself at a disadvantage when you are learning how to make stuff. That will come with time. Weirdly enough, you need to be willing to accept that it is going to take you a long time to make things when you just start doing anything. It's going to take you a long time. And I think there's a very unfortunate thing that has happened kind of in the world where there's an expectation that you need to be going at 500% right out the gate. The reality is the more you work on something, like say for this, like a project, you can't learn how to do that to like push yourself if you're only pushing yourself. If that makes sense. There's actually a thing. There's a thing that I learned working a job inside of a kitchen. And it's smooth first. You want to learn how to do smooth first. And that means like doing actions, even repetitive ones, as smoothly as possible before you can be able to do them quickly. And that really does apply to everything. I think that does actually apply to everything. Because if you think about it, like, yeah, that makes some sense. It makes some sense that if you can do things as smoothly as possible, then you'll just build up the ability to do them faster without it straining you. So you just have to be actually willing to take the time to do something slowly before you can do it quickly. That's true. I think that's true. Um, and also it's just kind of nice. Sometimes it's nice. Sometimes you're not. We're all everybody did different. Everybody did different. And also every day is a little bit different. Days you can push yourself real hard, and some days you're just like, I did less than the bare minimum, and that's still fine. Not every day is that way, or at least I. Little did you know, you thought you were gonna get a shit poster. Instead, you've got introspections of a very tired artist. It's fine. As much as I do like my shit posty side, and I always will, and I do, huh, no, I do think that Bob Ross has played a very good positive effect on a lot of the work that I do, commentary wise, especially when I'm doing artwork, because god damn it, the man is just good. Honestly, I haven't watched him recently. Watch him a little. I need to watch him next time I'm like doing any kind of like independent art. It's good to have resources like that, if that makes sense. Like for me, Bob Ross is very helpful, actually for like streaming and stuff because the man is very good at doing this. He's actually he was very good at this. I've mentioned before. I think Bob Ross would have made a fantastic streamer, and not even just from a like. I don't think he would have been like a fantastic streamer because streamers today because he would have been like streamers today. I think if he just would have been the way that he was, he would have been fine. Like if he literally would have just done his thing, he would have been fine. Because he's very good at exactly what he does while he works. He's also just a fascinating guy. Always. Rest in peace. Respect to the man. Respect the Bob. We respect the Bob in this household. I don't know if this makes sense, but we're gonna do it. This is kind of a nice little tidbit of art, is sometimes you just kind of have to do things because they add texture. That's the fun thing about art. You don't have to do, not everything you do in art has to make sense. You can just do whatever the hell you want. Just have fun. You know? Interesting. Okay, so this is an interesting situation. Especially with animation. I think the degree that I'm learning is you want to draw as best as you can, but do so without lingering on a frame as much as possible. The worst thing you can do in animation, I think, is linger on a frame. I do. And I think the best thing you can do for animation is to accomplish something without having to revisit it more than necessary. And I think that's important. That's important to clarify because it's not saying, for me, necessary is okay, I only want to revisit a single frame no more than 3 times. Honestly, that's probably what I'm gonna shoot for. That's gonna be my benchmark is line maybe 4, technically 4. You do keyframe sketches, line art, fills, render. Done. Don't want to focus on it more than that. Do not want to do more work than that because it already takes so much time. And then from there, polish that process. It's about you making yourself a rubric like that, especially with stuff like this that requires a production, a sort of production, well, production value, but like a production mindset is gonna help. Is gonna help with stuff like that, especially with animation. And then the next goal is just, I don't know, just find it. I do actually kind of find specifically tweening and stuff like this kind of relaxing because especially rendering. I think rendering might be my favorite part for this because it's the perfect in between of there are moments where you don't have to think and then the moments that you do have to think you find a nice little gap to be like I have a problem and I need to solve it. And that's stuff I like, but I don't need to be solving a problem every single frame. I like the in-between frames where all I'm doing is just kind of like, yep, I'm just filling the space. It's coloring for adults. Hold on. I gotta finish this and then I gotta write that down. Need that for the VOD title. That is what rendering is. It's coloring for adults. I fucking love coloring. Hold on. Do, 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 do. Where'd you... Where's Notepad? Also, two. And if anything, there's a certain point I've realized when you're making things. Sometimes, especially if you're like doing what I'm doing. So, for example, a lot of this animation is drawing straight ahead. So what that means is that I'm not going back and forth and back and forth, back and forth. I'm starting at point A and I'm moving forward to point B. That's just how I'm starting my process. You got to start somewhere. Might be something to be said about going back and forth and back and forth. There probably is value in that, but for now, I'm not doing that. It's, he's so whiny today. Oh. But this is the process that I'm starting with, so I'm going to start with this. You got to start somewhere. He wants my attention, but he won't tell me what it is because he doesn't know how to speak English. Est. Hey, for friendly reminder, when I call him that, it's not. I don't mean him. I love the boy. He's a big dumb dumb. Big dumb goofball. He's a big dumb needy goofball. I think now he's like, you're not supposed to be home right now. What are you doing here? And then he's like, and you're animating. I hated when you do that. He's inconsolable, this creature. Like that. We'll split this. I'm trying to decide if I want to split. I want it to like be pretty much moving and shimmering as possible. And adding that depth is going to help to add a lot more motion. That this will help that. What? What? Yeah. Sit down. Yes, I love you too, sir. I do that. Hmm. The real reason why this is gonna take me 2 more days is because boy, the boy is here. He's trying to help. Actually, no, he's not trying to help. He's trying to be like, why are you here? Sir, I'm allowed to be here. He definitely wants my attention for something, but I have no idea what. Per usual for per usual for the kit. I need something. What do you need? I don't think he actually knows. He just wants to scream. Hey, thank you, Auto Mod. Thank you, Sean, for setting up that Auto Mod. Honestly, that's so nice. Go to heck. Go to heck, bots. We don't need you here. We don't need that shit here. Really, everything I was saying earlier. Just, just whatever you were trying to do something, whenever you're trying to do anything, always remember that weirdly, it's always going to take longer than you want it to. I think that's something that is really hard to accept, is that everything you want to do is going to take longer than you want it to take. I think that is a normal, frustrating part of life, is that everything you want to do is going to take for frickin' ever. But if you actually take the time, that's where you'll actually see things change, better. You have to still be willing to take the time, as well as being willing to accept that it will take time and being courteous about that, I guess. What matters less is how long something takes and whether or not you keep showing up to do it. That's what I think matters more, is if you keep putting effort into something. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. Let's go to the eyes. Something soft. Like me a nice cool color in the background. I do like me a nice cool color in the background, so that way it doesn't burn my retinas out. I have enough white here, I don't need more. There we go. Like a little slip like that. I think contrast. For contrast, we're gonna like this. I like this pink ribbon that I've got here. I think the beast has finally calmed himself. I think he's finally decided to give up on whatever he was trying to do. He's stubborn. He's a stubborn creature. Actually, I commend him on his stubbornness, honestly. I could both be and sometimes envy how stubborn that cat can be. Bang. Bingo bango. Bingo bango. Kind of what that. You know what's funny? Young me would see like how people could just smoothly do things. I don't know what it was about me growing up, but I actually had terrible shaky hands. Like really, really bad. Like so bad that I was like, as much as I like drawing, I don't think I could ever do that. And I think part of it is you have to learn how to relax things like your hands and stuff when you're drawing. Does would help. Hold on. You gotta do stretches. You gotta stretch your fingers. Are still parts of your body. They got little muscles and ligaments. It helps. Eh. Sound of releasing. You gotta stretch the demons out. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Then we go down and around. Oh, this one. Good, good, good. If it's kind of like shimmering, we'll go ahead and reverse it. There we go. And then just add a little bit extra. Add that there. It should be the last two ribbons, which means this will be the ribbons will be off screen by the next frame. Don't have to worry about those anymore. This is interesting. That's almost off screen. Already, honestly, like that, we're past. Other than the next hand bit, I think we're past the I'm gonna say third hardest part of the render. I do think the first hardest part was the first time we did the hands. The second hard part will be the second part we do the hands, just because those hands were really hard to do anyways. But this is the nice thing about the render and shadows is you need to be consistent enough, but the actual individual like once you start a shadow and just follow through with it, it'll look fine. You don't have to think that hard. I actually think there is a bit of an intimidation when it comes to doing animation or any illustration in that matter, but especially animation where it's like, ooh, I gotta be consistent with every frame, and yes, and ultimately, what I have learned doing this is you need to be consistent in follow through, not in initial sense, if that makes sense. If you put something on an animation, just go with it. That's the important thing to remember. It's not about, did I put the light in the right spot? It's about, I have a shadow here now. Guess the shadow's there. You just gotta keep moving with the direction that that shadow's going. You just gotta follow through with it. Animation is a lot like shooting a shotgun. Might be asking, what the hell do you mean by that? And all I mean is that you gotta follow through. That's it. That's all. I haven't fired a shotgun in a long time. Shotgun shooting was probably my favorite part of Boy Scouts. We fired 22s, which were fun. I did actually like the 22s. We fired. I did not like the black powder. Personally, I didn't like the black powder because we just got to shoot one shot. We didn't even get to load it ourselves. And yeah, it was like a big kick, but I was like, I don't like this. I do not like black powder. Um, don't get me wrong. I think black powder is cool as hell now, but as a kid, I did not like black powder because I didn't get to do any of the things. You just get to shoot. You get to pull the trigger, and ironically, that's not what I like. I like everything, not just getting to pull the trigger and make a big sound. I don't. I don't care as much about that as everything else. That's why I geeked out last night. I'm sorry, Sean. the reload animation on the broken butterfly is beautiful. True art. But yeah, like mechanisms. I like the mechanical clackiness of a firearm. I do like that. Uh, and fundamentally, a black powder rifle lacks that. It just kind of lacks that for me. Unless I was doing like, I probably would actually enjoy it. Like if I got to load it, I would like that part. But we were kids and we weren't allowed to load the black powder rifle. Cowards! You let us shoot the shotgun. You let us shoot the 22 rifle. Wouldn't let us load the fucking black powder rifle. You let us shoot it. You're not gonna let us load it. Cowards! Let me load my miniature cannon. Honestly, I think I would have liked that. Probably would have liked black powder more if they let me load it. Though, I probably still wouldn't have liked it as much because I was still pretty utilitarian about that kind of thing. So I'm just like, why would I use this? It'd take 8 years to shoot another shot. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, I made a mistake. Let it, I didn't make a mistake. Forgot something. Defense. Oh no, that's fine. Okay, that's good. That's actually a really nice feature. Good on you. Good on you, animate. That's a nice feature. Oh, what do you mean you're an object? Stop that. Boop. And give it a little curve. Like that. Oh, I see. Wait, no, why? Oh, I see. Never mind. Okay, it doesn't do that. I thought it would. Interesting. So if I unlock this, let's show the underneath of that. This is too solid? I think it's too solid. Huh. Alright, that's actually good to know. I should... And that's really annoying, though. Man, that's really annoying, though. I get it. I get it. I don't like it. I don't like it, though. I get why it's that way, but I don't like it still. Oh, shit. Can't do that either. Okay, that's better. Yeah, that's good enough. Interesting that the onion skin that works that way. It makes sense. I see what it's doing from like a programming standpoint. I just don't like it. Hold on. I'm gonna do this way. So I gotta up a little bit. Good news, I think the child has finally calmed down. This is something I want to get better at, is what's happening right here. So you might be wondering, why did you draw over that? Because sometimes you have to be willing to draw something consistently, like say to like fill a space or do something like that, and then you need to go back and remove the part that you're not wanting to be there. But you still need like the consistent shape because it's technically behind. And the way that you've drawn something, you can't you just gotta do it. You just gotta do it. Gotta keep pressing. You just gotta keep pressing. Keep doing your thing. Something I need to learn, actually, like moving forward with a lot of this too. And I I think I've learned something that it's like, yeah, I'll put it this way. I need to learn how to do it the way that I'm going to enjoy doing it and then ignore anybody who would be like, why are you spamming? Because you gotta advertise. I need to advertise. Still gotta advertise, and I'm working on that. You gotta at least be willing to let people know that you're doing something. And that's why I've like really made an effort over the last couple years to really refine my process doing that. And like moving forward, uh, I've been like, you know what? Whatever works, right? Seen it? That's a good thing. Do the things that get you seen, and that's good. So I just got to use the things that are working right now and continue working them. And if they change, then I just gotta maybe like both keep doing it as well as like maybe analyze what I might need to change or whatnot. But like the shorts, the way I've been using the shorts actually, I think has been like really really good for finally like realizing like, oh, this is how people see me. Oh, people are actually seeing my shit now. Like I don't know what it is or why YouTube wants it to be that way, but you just gotta do. You just gotta do what works. Just gotta do what works. That's what matters. It still is weird though, and sometimes it's like really delayed. I don't know why sometimes it's like sometimes it'll do like immediately and sometimes it'll happen like a couple days later. I don't understand. Like that what the fuck? Why did this get and sometimes it comes in waves. It's the kind of thing that I definitely don't think I should look at it all that often, but also it's like, but I don't know what it's doing. I am still a victim of want to see number go up. I will admit that. Like when number go up. I like when number go up. I think a lot of people who like when number go up, no matter what. I've also kind of resigned myself to accept that yes, there is a certain element of screaming into the void. Yeah, I just scream into the void sometimes. Screaming into the void is like my specialty. Frankly, I kind of like it. Just maybe about the same amount. Animation is kind of like a puzzle. I think that's why I like it. Is ultimately it is a bit of a it is a specific kind of challenge that requires you to test a certain part of illustration that I particularly am weirdly better at than just straight up drawing. And that's a weird thing, right? I think it's a weird phenomenon that a lot of people who've gotten into animation all kind of agree on is like for whatever reason animation kind of ends up working a little bit better because it kind of tests your ability to manipulate an asset a little bit more than it does creating an asset, which in some ways can be a little bit more difficult. It can be harder to actually just full cloth make something than it is to take an object and manipulate it through the course of a bunch of work. And time and effort, of course. Hey, that's part of the fun, I believe. sweat and the piss and the tears is a part of the fun. Accept it. Accept it, and you too can be an animator. Just like me. Animation is weird. I think it helps that animation really actually benefits from simpler drawings overall, because if you make like really, really complicated drawings, it it will make the job harder and not necessarily result in a better animation. Not necessarily, but it can. It goes both ways. It really actually takes a lot of very specific knowledge to make animation like that work, actually, as well as can just be like a huge flex. Looking at you, Pat Labor. Your fully rendered tomatoes, you psychopaths. But note that it was just a tomato, and that tomato doesn't do much. But it does move, which is crazy to me. But certainly there's like a certain amount of really breaking down and simplifying illustration in a way that you can utilize it for something that's much more complicated, because if the illustration is much more complicated, the effort of making it move just exponentially increases the effort it takes to get it to move. Whereas if you can simplify that, if you really simplify that down and be able to extract an object, so that way that object can be easily malleable in such a way that it can move, is something I like about animation specifically. You know, it is a fundamental part of animation that I think really lends itself a little bit more to me, particularly, because as much as I really do want to work hard on improving things like my rendering and my individual illustrations, which I always will. Like, I do science illustration, those I want to improve the actual individual quality of their renders. Um, that's gonna just the nice thing I like about animation is animation looks good because of what you can do with the medium, not because it is completely dependent on good draw. Though again, one of the fundamentals of animation is draw good. But that, I think it's the more I like kind of butt up against that, it's a reminder that if you're working in a visual media like that, it's not to be condescending, right? It's like you need to draw X good. It's more like if you're going to work in the media like this, if you work in any media, be prepared to work on your process. Like, be willing to actually be like, what also can I do to improve just how things look in a still? And it goes both ways. Like, it's more of a practice thing than it is a fundamentals thing of like, your animation won't look good if you don't draw good. Actually, no. Drawing good is more of also an illustration thing than it is a oblique and an oblique art thing, right? Um, Drawing good means how can you process an image? Process an image onto a piece of paper. I think that's really what draw good means. How effectively can you transfer a a either a reference or a thought into a visual form? That's all that draw good means. Draw good doesn't mean can you 100% photorealistically copy something. Draw good means can you take something and apply it in front of you. That's all that draw good means. And it's a reminder that you want to be thinking of that as a skill that you are working on alongside making things move. Because again, individual drawings don't matter as much in animation, but being able to really effectively transmit onto something is going to help you a lot. And that is much more about your process and how you interface with illustration than it is about, well, are you talented enough to do this? No. I would say, I would argue at this point, I've only gotten to this part because I've really finally sat down and like been like, okay, no, no, stop thinking I need to hit a benchmark. I don't think there's a benchmark. There is never a benchmark for making anything. Make things. Everybody make things. Make bad things. Make good things. Things you want to see made. But if you want to make something good, you have to be willing to both kind of fight for it, as well as be able to recognize, like, okay, I just need to. You shouldn't just make things. You should make things with the intent of being able to see your change over time. A little bit. There's also just a little bit of like, just be willing to. I think if you really genuinely care about expressing something, you're going to improve over time because you're going to be wanting to put all of your effort into it. And I think that as long as you're putting your full effort into something continually over a period of time, you're going to get better at it. You're going to get better at anything you actually care about doing. Because there's a certain kind of freedom to always remember that being able to do something even when you're bad at it, even when you're really bad at it, and that's not an insult. There's nothing wrong with being bad at something. Absolutely not. I'm just, I still think there's parts of this that I'm like, I should have done that better. Being willing to accept that doing something even when you do it poorly is still better than deciding not to do it at all. I think and whilst we want better things, we always want better things, I think it's important to remember that doing something poorly doesn't mean you've done it bad, and that there's a certain amount of like, it's kind of, at least for me, it's like helpful to know that it's like, you do truly just need to get like a start. You just got to start putting something on paper. Because the next one you'll be able to go, okay, this is what I could have done different, this is what I could have done better. Certainly after this, I'm like, okay, I definitely know what I'm going to do different. I think one of the things that I missed on this one that would have made the line art go better is I did some keyframe sketches, but I didn't do enough. I need to do more. I need to do more keyframe sketches, I think. To like really be able to understand moving forward, like what I wanted. Oh, what is that? Okay, no, that's fine. It was like there's a dot there. There's supposed to be a dot there. There is supposed to be a dot there. But yeah, one of the things I'll change when I do my next animation, which will probably be soon. It'll probably be within a month. Like I said, I want to do a couple. I want to do a couple renders. I want to really focus on renders for a little bit. It's just something that I really want to start building up. But I do want to like probably do 1 or 2 renders, then an animation. 1 or 2 renders, and then an animation. And I'll either start just with line animation again, or depending on how quickly I can do it. I'm gonna start like shooting for production gaps, right? It's like, okay, I want to do 1 or 2 renders before I do my next animation. Those should take me a couple weeks. Shouldn't take me long. Shouldn't take me long to do a single render. That's the goal. Like I'm processing the process. and I'm trying to get the consistency, um, which I'm getting closer to. Every single freaking time I do this, I get closer to that, and I'm proud of that. By the way, I think the fact that I can like look at that and be like, okay, here we go, baby. Um, no, like that is really good. That is a really good place to be moving forward because it means that uh, kind of only uphill from here. Honestly, like it downhill from here in some ways. It's a rocky hill. It's a bumpy hill. But you know, part of it, part of the experience. Part of the experience of learning how to do this stuff is accepting that the hill is gonna be there. The hills are gonna be there. Be dips. There'll also be downs. So there will be well positive downs. It'll go up and down and up and down. But it is I think it is moving forward going to be a relatively downward slope moving forward because like I now see like okay this is how I want to do this is how I want to do this now I want to do this like really being able to abstract out your process for specific parts of what you're doing is going to at least for me has been what I've been needing to do to actually be like okay I know what I'm doing I've always known what I'm doing actually outline it and it's going to like feed back into my animation. Largely, I want to focus on individual illustrations of rendering to also kind of reflect the kind of animation I want to go for, anyways. And if I can make one, I'll put a little bit more effort into those than I normally would. It still will retain the fundamental pieces to be able to do these frames the way that I want to. And ultimately, it will always be sketch, line art, flats, render. And as far as an individual drawing will go, the render will get a little bit more work, but it will still be the same process. It will still be the same concept. It'll still be the same thing. It'll still be the same idea. The idea being the render is just where's the lighting and texture. That's it. That is what the render is. That's what it will always be, and it will help me hyper focus on being able to get that done and continue improving it instead of trying to achieve something that I just frankly shouldn't do. You should not just do something because you see somebody else do it sometimes. You do still need to be willing in this sense to like see what you do and be like, okay, distill that and focus on it. Focus on actually what you know you can accomplish first before you start going into things that you don't know how to do again. Now you might ask, but I don't know how to do anything. Well, that's not 100% true. I don't believe that. I believe anybody who does or makes anything doesn't know how to do anything. That would be like saying, I don't even know how to put a pencil on a piece of paper. That's not true. You might be saying though, well, that's not that easy. And it's like, yeah, it actually is. It truly is. I think it is. Like if you have an interest in doing something, 100% actually have an interest in accomplishing something. It is that simple. It's always going to be that simple. You just do it and not do it and do it not in the sense of like you're going to do it correct. You're going to do it the best. You're going to do it right. Don't worry about those things. The the accomplishment of doing something comes in the reflection that you didn't know what to do, how to do, and all of that, and you still did. You still showed up to do it anyways. better to do it wrong. Well, better to do it safely wrong and experience that as a like plot point of at least you tried than to just like, well, darn, I didn't do it right. I guess I can't do it right. No. Everyone starts off doing something, even if they have an inclination for it, kind of doing it wrong. There are no rules. You have to be willing to do things wrong to know what's wrong to do. I think that's also an important thing to remember. You shouldn't keep doing the wrong. Don't keep doing the wrong things. That I think is what's important to ascertain, right? Is like also yeah, you still gotta learn from it. But you have to be still willing to make that. Be willing to risk to make the fact that you would do something wrong. You had to be willing to do, it, or else you'll never do anything. Besides, I also like the kind of like motivator of seeing somebody do something, like somebody else do something, either do something really right or do something very wrong, and be like, I know I can't do a lot of things, but I know I could do that better. That I think is one of the best motivators. Is being straight up like, I don't have any experience with a camera, but goddamn, I could see what they did wrong in this. I would like to try to do it better. And I think it's that kind of transformative nature that we need to remember. We need to be honestly like sometimes a little bit more relaxed on though. I know that I will actually say it goes both ways. It's hard. It's really hard. Um, you know, I think it's I think stuff like that is very difficult to deal with because it's like, well, yeah, no, I don't want stuff stolen. I don't want my stuff stolen. But I think that's like on a granular case by case basis, but I do think that there's something equally as stifling as just being like as restrictive as possible. I think we need to find some medium. I think we need to find we at least make it accessible, right? Like I think that there needs to be some accessibility or grant work or just something to allow people to be able to license things so that way they're not getting tanked because gotta start with something sometimes and sometimes other people make shit. You are like but also you gotta get your idea. Getting ideas from other people is totally fair. I think it citation, scientific citations, get them MLA, APA, MLA. I don't think it's MLA. I don't remember the other one. Get those. This is why I've like tried to really make an effort to actually be more citey because it's like, well, I think stuff like that, like so that way you're not like, yeah, I thought of this. It's like, no, the parts that you thought of are gonna be yours, but if there was influence from another person, which is totally fair, I think people like to know that they've influenced somebody else in a way to make something, make something positive or make something different or utilize something. Like, there's a certain amount of like sort of selfish artistry in knowing that your thing inspired somebody else to take your thing and make something new with it. I do think that a lot of artists like that. I would like that. The, I any the fact that some people I've seen people make things out of hydrate, man. I'm just like, yes, that's awesome. Like that's amazing, right? Like I think that artists want to see things made, and there is something very special about especially seeing something that you've made motivate people to make more things. And really, I think there's a part of overcoming the kind of like mental block of being able to find that medium of how do I know that I'm making things that are mine? How do I know that I'm admitting the inspirations that I have without getting in trouble? I think that is a very difficult thing to navigate, especially now with the internet. I think that's like just genuinely a challenge that we're still facing because the internet makes that both easier and harder at the same time, right? Like it makes it easier for people to just be like, yeah, I did that. And it's like, no, you didn't. But at the same time, like, I don't know if anybody at least makes anything completely original. At some point, they'll take like an homage. Like, allegory exists for a very good, important reason. It's an important part of literature, is allegory. And allegory fundamentally requires you to interface with a piece of media that already exists. You can't have allegory if it isn't based on something, if it's not at least a little unoriginal and derivative. Allegory exists in a derivative format. But it's still an effective and important part of English literature because I think the important part of allegory is the transformative element of allegory. It's you saying, here is something that somebody's established. Now here's the thing that I do to bring something new to that conversation, but also to maybe even reiterate the conversation that the original proposes. I think good allegory is a good mix between new and old ideas, in which maybe it's as much about being able to bring new thoughts to old ideas as it is being able to reflect on ideas that we've had and say, but these ones still work. It's like an important part of human culture is being able to reflect on things we've done and things we haven't done and be able to say, you know, oh wait, this is did I do the thing? I did the thing. Hold on. Sorry. Having to do something real fast. I did. Oh I did. Oh I hate when I accidentally hit the button. Like right? That's why. Honestly, hold on. This keeps bugging me. This is something I don't like about anime that I wish it would be better about. Okay, there's one. Sometimes like frames end up getting selected like that, and you have to go back. You have to scrub back and actually individually find them to be able to deselect them. And the reason why I don't like it is specifically when I try to play the loop, it adds a weird texture that just looks distracting to me when I'm like, I just want to see how things are going. I don't like it. I don't like it. The solution is easy though. You just gotta go. You just gotta pan through and gone, and then it's gone. Yeah, see, fixed. It was like 2 frames. There's also in here. I won't say that this is the right way to do anything, quote unquote, but it is a way, and it is a way that does work. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. However, it probably is not still the most, certainly isn't probably the most efficient way to do anything. But it is still a way to do things, especially if you have the determination, but nothing else. Ironically, I would say brute force is a good way to learn how to do anything if you do not have the capacity and availability to do formal formal directive education. I do think people can still learn And it is brute force is a way to learn things when you have really no other option but time. When time is the only resource you can apply to something. You might ask, well, what if I don't have the time? That's the trick. That's the trick that your brain does to yourself to say that you don't have the time. Buddy, we all got the time. There's always going to be a limited value on it, but we all got the time. It's just whether or not you're willing to accept the fact that you will need to make that time one way or another. If you don't want to, you don't have to. That's fine. Take, for example, I would love to interface with Wakatabi. I, at the moment, do not have the time to interface with Wakatabi. I do want to. I do. I just need to... The way that I see it is for me to be able to acquire that time. Right now, there are certain things that I want to be more fixated and focused on because those are the things that I'm trying to grow. However, I'd love to start popping into Wakatabi. I would really like to. I would really like to start learning Japanese because I think that there would be some benefit there. I directly think there would be some benefit there, both for me, both for Sean, both for the things that I want to accomplish moving forward, like learning a second language and learning how to learn a second language. There are other reasons because there might be a third language that I might want to learn at some point. But to be able to do that, I have to be able to start learning the skills that require me to do that. Because it's just as much of a skill, it's just as important to learn the skills to learn a specific language as it is to learn the skills on what it takes you to start learning any language. That is something that at least I now know I can do because of things like learning how to do animation, learning how to do any of the illustration that I've done, learning any of the science that I've done. Learning how to learn things is as important as the topics that you are learning themselves. You know, I think it is completely taken for granted that people forget that if school didn't suck, school is not about learning what you need to know. School is about learning how to learn. School is about learning how to learn. People forget that because people don't think that it's important. When the most important thing you need to get out of school is the capacity to learn things. School teaches you some things, but they don't make it clear that the things that they're teaching you aren't you didn't learn nothing in any school just because you don't continue to utilize it in your day to day. What you still learned by learning those things is that you need to be able to pick up information that is relevant to you right now. And that you need to be willing to do that for anything. And then, even if some of those things you no longer do, you need to be able to know how to get back into it. Like recently, fairly recently, I don't engage with geology as much as I want to. I'll admit that, but I've actually found an avenue that I do. And then recently, somebody like asked me some questions about it, and I just answered them. And I was like, I still have the information. You still get the information in there, especially if you care about it. And if I wanted to look into it more, I know how to look that up now because I know what to look for. You know what to look for now. It's less about having that raw data inside of your head and more about if I need to understand something, I now know where to look to find more information based on the information that I already have. At least that's the way that I process data. I know there's some people out there who can just eat data and then poop it out. I kind of can't do that. I can for some things. I definitely can for some things. I definitely have knowledges that I would never have had I not experienced certain things. And now I'm just like, well, I know how to do this now. I hate that I do, but I know how to do it now. But hey, you gotta learn how to do anything. Thing I would say is I think high school would be improved if your core things stayed core, but if there was more of a broader scope of agreed understanding that we're not teaching kids we're teaching kids the basics on certain things, and then from there, otherwise, how to learn. Really, how to learn, how to process information. That's what school at least was for me and has been for me, and is why I still at least justify like doing a lot of the schooling that I did, and if I ever went back. Also, why I think schooling needs to be treated a little bit more openly as something that you should want to do, as well as treated in a way that is encouraged, and also that people, I don't know, you never stop doing stuff like that. At least I never have. Roll with it. That's what the shadow does now. I don't think it probably should do that, but it does it now. Punches. Go with the flow. And this is why I like drawing straight ahead. Going with the flow is something that I actually just really like doing. I just like it. I want it to be. There we go. That's what I want. You're facing processing. Ick. I will say though, at some point, I might try doing a couple of blind drawing challenges just because it's allegedly good for you, and I can see it. I see the process. I see the point. I just kind of dread it because it's like, do you mean I have to learn? What the fuck? Hey, what the fuck? Hey, what the fuck? Oh, I know what happened. This is an interesting artifact I was not expecting to find. Artifacting gets even more interesting. At least it's easy to fix. I know exactly what it's from. It was from This artifacting is from when I was doing my flat, and I must have accidentally somehow made parts of the line of the flat white. Happens. This is teaching me something, though, actually. It's teaching me that the thing that I wanted to do here, I need to at least still leave a line layer. I do need to still leave a line layer until I do a final. If I really wanted to do like a true final pass, like I flattened everything and then I looked through everything and then I just add final touches. But I need to keep a line area until that point, a line layer until that point, as much as I want to add a line. There we go. Let me think. We got hands coming up. We got fingers coming up. Yep. A little bit lower. Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like that. This is behind. Something like that. Do something like that, and then we've got this is that. Thinking like that. That makes sense to me. Yeah, yeah, because this is the palm. That's the palm of the hand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine. Yeah, this is fine. Processing. More of that processing. You gotta just do that processing. Actually, this, that, I like this. Maybe. Yeah, we're gonna try that. Well, I'll do solid at least. It's solid like that. Solid like that. That okay. Oh, my meat stick. There we go. Well, that was weird. I don't know why I did that. There. And down. Around, down. Honestly, I am. I think I'm making pretty good progress even today. Yeah. Oh boy, here come the hands though. Fun. Okay, here we go. So, established. At what? Knuckle here. Oh, more like that. This is definitely behind. This is definitely behind. This is just... we'll do that. No, why not? Adds a little texture. I was like, yeah, do I want to? Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? Yeah. That. This is behind this. That. Do it one piece at a time. Shadow, sometimes you just got to do one at a time. How you get the shadow like actually where you want. You like think of it like he's in sections, if that makes sense, because you're thinking about it in like planes. You're thinking in more planes of which light is kind of reflecting and bouncing off, and where it's not reaching. Oh, that's that. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. I think that will work. Yeah. That's why moments like this, you just gotta take a moment, think about it. Just think about it. Have your moments of slowing down, and then you can start picking up back pace because it's like, well, okay, I figured it out. Now you know what to do for the next steps. Here we go. Here we go. Much better. Also, kind of have like some start getting a sense of like kind of signposting, if that makes sense, of like certain spots or certain values in which you want to just kind of like keep generally the same. Like looking at this, it's like no matter how it moves, I always want the shadow to be about that far away, no matter what. And there are more precise ways. I would say my way is not necessarily the best way to do it. It's not actually. I don't believe I'm doing it the most effective way and consistently speaking, but it is the way that works best for me is learning like kind of like through repetition, kind of ballparking. Okay, yeah, that should go about there. That should go about there. Okay, this is about halfway. There are you do little pencil measurements and stuff. That is valid. Depends on how exact you're wanting to be, and there are things with measuring that I do. I definitely utilize a lot of like point reference, in which I look at where something is in relation to something else to kind of be like, okay, it should be about that big. It's all about finding those techniques that work best with how you actually process something, especially when it comes to illustration, art, stuff like that. All right, here's the fun part. Now, because there's so much motion, that's where also like using point reference to a certain extent, you have to just be willing to be like, it moved. So one of the things that helps me, we'll use this as an example, is thinking back to front. Once I learned that back to front is a super, 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 super helpful, important part of anything when it comes to like illustration, but certainly like animation, it really helps give you a reference point to just be able to make certain decisions that'll just go, and then you just do it that way. Don't have to worry about, did I do it correct? Did I do it the way that it actually should look? You just do it a way that looks right. And back to front means that um, typically speaking, you want to start from the farthest back from an object that you can, You can. You don't always have to. There's exceptions, and just sometimes you find yourself working on something that's a little bit in front. It happens. That's its own kind of like, okay, how do I deal with that situation? But ideally, you want to be working backwards as far as you can. You want to be working into the background as far as behind as anything can because everything has depth. And in this case, those objects are usually just always darker. Now, in this case, I used a matte to just be able to be like, okay, everything is if everything was neutrally evenly lit, this is what color would be. That's what works with my brain. And then now when I do the render, I work backward moving forward. You work with your darks, and things that are behind are typically just slightly darker than things that are in front. Not be extreme. That's why I'm doing it this way. Is like it's just a flat value grade of darker is behind, and that works also with shapes and stuff like that. So kind of starting with this backhand a little bit, and the parts that are the most forward on that hand are the things that are going to be brighter. Those are the areas, the regions that are going to show the most color and not be desaturated by lighting. And I'm kind of thinking about it as if these were just flat. Just think of it as like a flat plane. And then you can see like the angles, and you just say, okay, dark go here, dark go here. Don't think about it too much more than that. Just think, okay, dark go here. And you work backwards, moving forwards. I started at the back, now we're moving up to his thumb, and now we're about this area right behind where this hand is. So you gotta think, okay, that's gonna have a little bit of shadow. And then now you're at this part, and there is not if there are multiple starting points. You just have to pick one. Sometimes you just have to pick a starting point and just be like, okay, starting with that. Sometimes you're a little bit forward than you mean to be. Sometimes you don't pick the farthest back that you can go, but you do have to still start somewhere. That this is a little bit more behind. Goes back like that. This is more behind. This is more behind. And like if I think about it, I think that you're just making a plane. You're making a flat plane. That would be the most front of the finger. And when it comes to animation and stuff like this, sometimes you just have to be willing to be like, it just is. It just is. It's all dark. It's all light. You can't deliberate too much on in-betweens because the less you have to complicate your render, the better. Always, always, always. The less you have to complicate your render, the better. Making things in art actually is about finding ways to simplify your process as much as possible to retain quality. That is actually one of the main keys of getting into any medium, anything, doing anything. It's not about doing it. You do not have to be Michelangelo spending 20 years on a single piece. I actually think, and I got this from Bob, I got this from Mr. Ross, is it's equally as valid that it's all just application of technique. It's all just application of technique. And you can find ways to preserve technique that don't take as long. And you should do those things. It's still good to do those things and to find those things. And that's what really has like helped guided me to be like, okay, this is what I gotta do. This is what you gotta do. Do finding what works also requires one to test things that don't work. You know? Finding out what works requires you to at least be willing to be like, well, this works, this doesn't. You have to be willing to at least stretch and risk doing something that doesn't work to find what works. I kind of bill myself as the contrarian person who uses all the parts of the game that nobody likes, and even anyone can do that because Sean is making a complete fool. He's making a complete fool of Ari and I. That the Punisher is still, you can still use it. It still has uses. It still has more uses than just being a worse handgun. That I never considered. And that is something that I brand myself on, honestly. And it's always important to remember that it is easy. It is easy to slip into what works and not being willing to try things that are different. And it's about finding the medium, the in between of test yourself to find what does and doesn't work, but be willing to do the things that work once you find them. Once you do, you're good. 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 Do them more consistently. You can do them faster. It doesn't mean also stop now. It doesn't mean now you stop doing things that don't work or that you don't know if they'll work. I think always be willing to try something that you don't know if it'll work, but be willing to fall back on things that you do know that work. And then also be open-minded to be willing to re-examine something that didn't work one way. Sometimes I think we forget or we don't think that when something doesn't work one way, that means it's never going to work, or that you know it's fundamentally a mistake. I don't necessarily believe that. I think there are cases where that is true. There are things that are just blatantly like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that way. But even then, like, you can't find ways to do or improve those things if you're willing to just be like, nah, that would never work. You'd be surprised. I think that it is still worth trying and making sure that something wouldn't work, or that you did confirm that something doesn't work that way. Otherwise, you're limiting options. You're limiting your capacity to like actually interface with anything if you don't at least make sure. Like maybe sometimes something not working is the difference of realize finding out something doesn't work can also be a result of just not interfacing with it in a way that would have made it work to begin with. Like I do think that there is an element of that in a lot of things. And I think sometimes it's easy. It's equally easy to be like, well, that wouldn't. I learned that it didn't work that way, so it's never gonna work that way. When maybe even you were very close, you're very close to realizing how it worked, but you stopped experimenting when you realized, oh, that isn't gonna work that way. Okay, fine. I'm just gonna do this instead. Then you know that works. Um, Finding that middle ground. You want to find that middle ground to be able to say both. Like, okay, this didn't work. What can I do different to try to make it work? Sometimes you just gotta find what makes it work, not just resolve that it was never gonna work. It's both. It's both. You gotta do both. Part of the life too. You gotta do both. Suck a little bit, but you do gotta do it. All behind. There we go. There we go. I think we just really want to capture that feeling that they're just kind of slightly. Yeah, I like that. I wish I would have made that other line. Like I have to make this line. I neglected to make this line, so now I'm gonna make that line. I neglected to make a line, so I can make a line. Have that down there. Whoop. Yeah, whoop. God damn it. This is on. Oh, why? Such a weird thing. I don't know how that happened. Did that happen when I flattened it? It might have happened when I flattened the object, and I don't know why it made it all that kind of object. Actually, I kind of understand why it did that object, and like, I don't like that. That's a little. But I also kind of see what I think they're going for. They're like, well, now you flattened this object. Now you just want it as a permanent object to be able to manipulate. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, Animate. I appreciate it, but that's not what I do right now. I need the drawing. Because ultimately, doing this by hand, drawing this by hand, means that I'm gaining a lot of experience with the drawing side. And is it less efficient? Yeah. But this is a learning experiment, anyways. You kind of want a learning experience to be a little bit as obstructive as possible to distill as much as you can out of it. Which I think is sometimes lost a lot in education, is being able to realize that being able to instill in the youths that, we have to do it the long way because in a certain sense, doing it the long way will teach you that it'll teach you a skill asset. It won't teach you a fundamental asset. It'll teach you more of a like mechanical asset that you can utilize. Is like being able to mechanically do it means you can do it faster in a way that is going to be back into saying like, okay, then I don't have to spend. You won't have to spend as much time when you have to do it that way because there are parts of the fundamentals that you always have to do. That's why they're the fundamentals. And then when you find the shortcuts later, you can utilize the fundamentals to get it done when you need to get it done that way, and then be able to utilize the shortcuts as actual shortcuts, so that way you can use the fundamentals on the part that really require you to use them there. So I'm like, don't flatten it that much. I don't see the value in doing that yet. Don't flatten it that much. I don't see the value in doing it that much. Don't benefit from it, especially not right now. Just because something can benefit you as like a shortcut and stuff, if you can't get the value out of that shortcut, you don't need to worry about that shortcut. Ironically, you can't utilize shortcuts until you know what you're doing. Otherwise, shortcuts don't help you. Or you get the wrong lessons. That's another thing. You could get the wrong lessons from a shortcut. Like, you gotta be careful with shortcuts, actually, I think. It goes all sorts of ways. This will all be code. There. And the hand. Let me do something like to show that this is a little bit higher, a little bit more raised. Again, I want to almost like create a plane. The goal is to make like a plane. Oh no, I hit the button. Oh no, I hit the button. At least I'm learning. Like, oh no, I hit that button. Now I know how to correct myself if I hit that button, so that way I'm not having to fix stuff. Learn why. Weirdly enough, don't worry about making mistakes, because you'll benefit more from being like, I made a mistake. Why the fuck did I make that mistake? What caused that mistake to happen? That matters more than if you made a mistake. Try this. I'm gonna try this. See if this is too much. If I do, I might do like. Dark is that? Because the goal, again, sometimes rendering is less about thinking like how the light should perfectly fit, and is more about like how do you display depth? How do you display depth with light? That is more important than getting the light quote unquote correct. Because I have a general idea of where my light source is. That's where I'm working on. That's my reference point. That's my limitation that I've put on myself, because I want to focus on less of being cognizant of the light itself and more of like just getting dimension much more fixated, much more apparent. Something that I want to focus on. I do think I want a little bit. Go, we step it. Step it. We just say like that. I don't want it to go immediately all the way. I want there to be like just a little bit. Yeah, I do want to half step it. I do think I want to half step it. Firefox, hey, I've noticed that a lot of platforms hate Firefox right now. YouTube hates Firefox, which I'm not very happy about. And if Twitch, I don't know why Twitch hates Firefox. I'm curious. Hi Silos, why does Twitch hate Firefox? I would like to know. I would like to personally know. I keep using the damn platform. Both. In that, if you're wondering which I say damn to, I say damn to both. There's some verification process that Chrome does that companies love for advertising that Firefox doesn't do. Yeah. Yeah, they're a big fan of all that, aren't they? A lot of stuff like that that they're really big fans of. Don't get me started on authenticator apps. I just don't like them. It skeezes me out. It skeezes me out that authenticator apps are just being marketed as the only way to do authentication now. And it bothers me. Like, there's a reason why we don't put all of our eggs in one basket. I have I have personally run into this problem. When the eggs are all in one basket, and the basket is thrown into a bathtub on accident. I can't get to the eggs anymore. That's the reason why I get at least the art. I I recognize the argument that, well, email isn't much more secure. Fine, I guess, but you still should have the option if you fucking need it. It's a last. That's what makes it a last resort. Yeah, I don't know. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. I agree. I agree wholesale. Like that is wow. Depending regardless of how I feel about that short story, it is gonna make me start using the word wholesale that way, isn't it? Uh, um sorry, my body had to do that to everybody. And it also decided to do that to everybody. You're welcome. Gotcha. I mean, said my piece. I said my piece, so I tech is in a weird spot. Tech security in particular, I think, is in a kind of awkward spot, I think, just in general. And I think everybody feels it. I think everybody feels how awkward tech is right now. Because like there's a lot to be like, yeah, well, yeah, but also you guys need to stop being so suspicious about it all. Like you gotta actually make us feel like we're secure and not like we're a bunch of number junkies for you to mine and gain a lot of material off of. That's not a great feeling. Not good. It's not great. 1 second. 1 second. Just had to take a moment. I mean, this definitely takes a lot less stress off of getting that. Like, this is, like I said, this is the physical asset is almost done, and as soon as the physical asset is done, I just have to do audio assets. And knowing me, I can do audio assets very quickly in comparison. In comparison, audio assets are gonna go way quicker. Good luck with ads. Good luck with ads, everybody. Always, it's a little late. I need a better notification of when ads are about to start. They just stopped doing that. I swear. 1 moment. 1 moment. And honestly, I can't express enough that I'm very excited that this will be done soon. Oh my god. I think I will definitely get this done within the next 2 weeks. I think this will be finished within the next 2 weeks. I think most certainly this will be finished within the next 2 weeks, which is very, very, very nice. Very, very nice. God. Which is also why I'm like, I don't need to. I'm a little less strained, actually. I'm a little less strained to like be like crunch, crunch, crunch. Because I'm like, I got more time to do this now. Yeah. And then I could do that's the thing. That's the only reason why if I ever got a little annoyed at this animation, it's because I'm like, I want to do other things. There are the things I want and need to do. Like for example, definitely if I'm gonna have any argument for if I do another animation, it's actually gonna be an animation for Mothership. And that might be interesting actually. I could see I might try something with that actually. There's some ideas I have with doing a Mothership animation that would be interesting because I think for a Mothership animation, I would need to make a background and then I would need to make assets. And the way that I'd make those assets is I'd actually draw them in Fresco and then I'd have to import them into Animate and just be willing to understand that any frames I'd want to do, I'd have to make in Fresco. I'd have to make that frame in Fresco. It'd be a little bit inefficient, but the brush tool in this cannot do what Fresco can do. Because again, the hand-drawn animation in Animate is going to be very vector-based. That is just fundamentally how that would work. Makes sense. I understand. But because of that, that creates a limitation because I would want it to have that kind of like grainy effect. And I think thinking of it that way. Oh, oh, that's this. I lost track of what layer I was working on. Oh yeah, no, I'm glad I did that. Actually, that's gonna work. That's gonna look well. That's gonna look right. Um, but as I was saying, drawing in animate is fine. Drawing in animate is fine and has its advantages if you're wanting to do a vector style. However, I would like to, if I'm going to try to do an animation, it would work one of two ways. I'd either need to, oh, oh, I hate the idea I have. I might, I might make my background in Fresco. Make your background in Fresco. I would do a fixed camera. I'd probably still do a fixed camera because I'm a psycho. But I'd do a fixed camera. And I would do my background. And I'd have two options here. I'd either do specific assets. I do specific assets in Fresco, keep the style consistent, or if it's just down to the render anyways, we do what we do here up to the flats. And then I export it all, put it probably into Photoshop first, make a Photoshop file, then open it up in Fresco and do my render in Fresco. Because I'm crazy like that. That is probably how I would do that. And it'd probably actually work. It'd probably actually look really good. This is what I like to do. This is like how I like to think. This is the kinds of things that I like to do when I do this. It's like it is to be like finding stuff like that. Guys, my next animation is gonna be a God of Limbs animation. I'm now determined that I'm gonna do some more God of Limbs animate illustrations, some stills. That's something that I've really wanted to get back to. Um, and those should always go faster. And then when I am ready to do another animation, they're gonna be it's perfect for that. That I can just do like 10-second animations of God of Limbs stuff. I would really like to do that. I think that would look really good. Right. And then yeah, it's like that. Like sometimes you just gotta find like a line. You just gotta find a lane of action in which everything kind of just consistently stays the same. And just follow it all the way through. I want to do a color thing. Oh, that shade. not working. Oh, I see gaps. Never mind, I see the gap. There we go. Just like that. This part's actually kind of difficult. Trying to capture depth there. You're like, nope, that's enough. Nope, that's enough. Nope, that's enough. Just keep certain. You gotta keep certain details consistent. A little bit behind. Good to know that this is going to be a consistent annoyance. It's fine. But it's fine. Yeah. And annoyances are fine. That's no deal. Hey, if we're at this song, we're making pretty good time then. I might go a little bit longer. We'll see. I might go closer to. Oh no, we're fine. We got plenty time. We got plenty time. I was gonna look at where I was at about 2 o'clock. So see where we're at 2 o'clock. Maybe go a little bit longer. Oops. Oops. It's the line here. Spot. Mr. Spot. Oh no, my dreaded enemy missed a spot. Honestly, I should keep track of stuff like that. Just dumb names like that. I would use that in something. It's like a good joke. Villain missed a spot. Missed a spot. Known for his unending scrutiny. The boy's got scruples from head to toe. What's funny is they're scrupulous, but they don't actually do anything. They don't do anything. They just are incredibly judgmental. There we go. Oh, this will be. There we go. Then C. We got like a plane there. We got like a plane. That goes down. Still trying to decide. This is like technically open, so I don't. Gig. Gag. Go. Then this is there. Yep. I just know now because it's been consistent. Because actually, my my simian brain sees object pattern and goes, "That's gonna do that again. It's gonna do it again because you saw it the last 5 fucking times." Oh well, how it works. Always remember that. Do not believe that that part of your brain is a limitation. It is actually a very important part that if you can utilize intellectually, then it is still a good part of your brain. It's not the dumb part of your brain. It's actually it's the naturally smart part of your brain. Take advantage of the naturally smart part of your brains, everybody. They're there for a reason. Everybody does, I believe, have them to some capacity, no matter what. A lot of. Don't gotta speak more on that. Alright. Alright. And, ah, oh, dang it. Ah, dang it. Animation is simultaneously trying to keep things consistent and then accepting when a change happens. Weirdly, it's as much about trying to keep things consistent as it is accepting that a change happened at some point and you just gotta go with it. I think you're better off in animation just saying that changed at some point. I don't know why it changed. I don't know how it changed, and you move forward. Especially when you're just starting. Because again, that consistency will come with time. That consistency will come with time. But do not concern yourself with anything else because if you do, you're spending wasted effort. No, 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 no. I'm going to actually rephrase that because I do actually believe, and I have adopted a very lovely phrase that I do believe is true that there is no such thing as wasted effort. But you are inputting more effort into something that ultimately would be better served if you mitigate against it and like be like look at it and be like, do I have the time to worry about this? The answer is no. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's hard. Trust me, it's hard. It's a work in progresses. I still have moments where I'm like, but I really want to worry about it. But sometimes you gotta just look at a situation and be like, is it worth worrying about right now? The answer is no. Then have your answer. Don't worry about it. Or, as I've heard very recently, or do worry about it. Worry about it so much that At least you put that effort into making something happen. Nothing wrong with worrying about something either. Just, I think it is important. Remember that allocation of your effort is what matters the most. Not how you do it, not where you do it, but that you're allocating it in some way, shape, or form. Now, this is an interesting situation I have found about this. I don't have a feeling about this. I'm gonna work through it. I work it. I try stuff. I try stuff sometimes. One of the biggest tools that, especially when it comes to vector art, the eraser is your best friend in vector art. I find that the eraser is just as important as the drawing utensil. And the reason why is because sometimes you just have to scribble something on and then kind of like sculpt it back. Sculpting things back is super, super important. And not something that really was something that I didn't learn until much later. I definitely started learning about it in college. I would say I did because one of the things that really helped me was when it was explained to me that art is like sculpting sometimes. It is a part of illustration is it is a process of sculpture in a certain extent. Being able to manipulate is just as important as putting media on a canvas. Being able to now take that media and then change it is a part of the process. Something I'm very grateful that I kind of had explained to me. That's the thing. Brute force, you just kind of have to wing it, but it is only when you are not able to access more deliberate, more direct individuals who will help you. But it is still a valid way to learn it. Big part of the process. There we go. How close am I? Close. Which means probably next. Fellas, fellas. Closer than I thought it was. A lot closer than I thought it was. We're gonna take. You know what? What process? I think we might actually finish. I think we finish the the animation part of the animation next time. We pop it into Premiere, do our Foley full time, and then we just do something else. We'd be drawing. We could go play a thing. I'm gonna reward myself for finishing this, whatever I do. Oh my god. But I think we're there. I think we might get this done today, and if not, it's gonna be literally 3 frames. But I think we're done it. We're doing it. We doing it. Oh, we fucking doing it. We go. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, though. Eh, we are kicking ass, and that's what matters. Yeah, just do that. Fuck it. Consistency is more important. Ugh. It. Funny is now I have to do two things. That's fine. Um, I'm learning this process so that way I don't freaking keep making that mistake. Perfect. And I might as well do this really fast. It's a little bit easier when I have the other. Give it a little care. Whatever that this is whatever that tendon is. I don't know what that tendon is. I don't know what it's called. It's a little guy. You get a little guy. Just got a little guy right there. I don't know what you call it. It's the guy. It's just a little guy. I'm sure it has a name. I just don't know it. That's something like that. A little bit more depth. We're back here. Do that. Where it's a little bit more challenging. It's kind of these weird spots. You gotta really sit and like look, try to like think out like, okay, this plane is actually right there and stuff like that. That's a really difficult part of this, I think. And kind of trying to isolate your like top frame. That has been really the challenge. Yeah, yeah, nailed it right there. Like that. That's why I'm a freak for enjoying drawing hands. There's just something very satisfying about getting a hand, like especially when it like really works, like really really works. You're just like, and I think it's partly I probably like it because it's a challenge. I think hands are a challenge, and I think I could still learn a lot about drawing hands. Like I do not think I do draw hands perfectly at all. I do think I still have a lot to learn, a lot of practice. I'm trying to do a lot more kind of like depth and shape study now these days. Whenever I do take the time on a lot of things, I need to do a couple more hands. You always got to do it. Always draw hands. I don't care. I don't care. You might hate them. Just got to do it. Helps. Hands are weird. They're simultaneously cylinders, but not cylinders. They're these weird kind of oblong, semi-flat sausages. You can learn a lot about it. Like if you break a finger down, don't break a finger. Don't break a finger. But if you take a finger, kind of like break it down into four planes along the side. Like you can really start to see that fingers are much flatter. They're much flatter than you would anticipate them, I think. That they have surfaces and stuff like that. Especially if you see like how light kind of like reflects off of them, the light actually stops at degree plane at very distinct planes on a finger. The light doesn't actually really curve around the finger. It actually goes along the side of it and then it terminates at a not quite 90 but pretty close to 90-degree angle. Like it makes an edge. It does make a distinct edge. And that's something that I'm learning is how to utilize that. Because that edge is not flat either. It's not a sharp edge, but it is a definitive edge. It is an edge that does exist. It's a flat edge, not a sharp edge, which is to like think about it. If we're like looking at here, like if you think about the way that I've illustrated the lines in this, the sharp edges are where finger stops existing. But the flat edges are where finger folds along a plane that signifies that there's a change in orientation, a change in surface, but not so much in a way that that surface is completely terminated. It's not, it's still flexible, but it's still less flexible than if it was a truly curved surface. It's not a curved surface. Like this is a curved surface. That's a curved surface. This right here is a curved surface. That's why it has kind of that like shape to it. Hair is its own kind of weird thing. I'm still experimenting with hair. Hair is simultaneously everything and nothing at the same time. That's why hair, you kind of like cheat a little bit, I think. You just make a blob. I make a blob. Then you kind of suss out the actual planar points afterwards. Hair is weird. Hair is weird and does weird shit. I start. A little bit more. Also gotta take a drink of water. Had to take a drink of water in a second. Drink more water. Had a cup of tea today. I'll probably make a cup of tea after this. Make a cup of tea after this. What's funny is I haven't actually paid a visit to Coffee Man recently. I've been drinking a lot of tea the last couple days because I haven't wanted to just make an entire pot of coffee. I'll probably make an entire pot of coffee tomorrow. We'll see, but I've been really trying to like actually cut down on how much discrete coffee I make and drink in a single day. In a single week. I should clarify that. It's more like an entire week. It's like, you know. I'm also considering the fact that I'm like, well, I'm really trying to be like, probably shouldn't drink that much coffee. Now I'm doing tea instead. Which definitely doesn't just have usually as much caffeine as coffee does. Actually, usually does, and that's also part of the reason is I'm really just trying to like wean myself less and less. I don't think I'll ever not drink coffee, but I definitely am like I've been drinking much of it no matter what, and I think my hypothesis is if I reduce my dependence on the volume, then I need less caffeine to at least have caffeine work. That's what I'm hoping. That's my reason. I know I'm not a toxicologist, so I can't tell you if that's gonna work, but that's the premise. That's what I'm working on. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least I'm trying. That's what's more important. Sometimes when it comes to stuff like that, you gotta still try something. You can't just be like, well, I did it right, darn it. Still gotta try something. Otherwise, it'll never get better. certainly I do think that no matter what, I needed to address my coffee consumption and my caffeine consumption. It has had diminishing negative effects. And yeah, which it sucks. It sucks because I'm now in that part of my life where I'm like, but I really still do just like the taste of coffee. Coffee tastes good. I like the taste of coffee. I'm not here to defend it. I don't like the taste of coffee. That's fine. A lot of people don't like the taste of coffee. Totally fair and valid. I just do genuinely still like the taste of coffee. I like the taste of certain. I I will admit I do like the taste of certain hard liquor, like certain like hard brown liquors. I like whiskey as much, I think, anymore. Not for me. Do still like a good scotch, but that shit because it's also expensive. And I do. I do like the smoky. I do like the smoky. So I probably would like a good. There is some whiskey out there that I really like. But I do like the smoky vibes. More like that. More like that. All right. Oh, I see. Ah, that's a nice detail. I'll have that. And it's just a detail for this part, so I don't need to go back and add it to everything. I think there's something to be said that I've learned is like, especially if you add a detail like that, just make a small incremental change and then you won't have to go back and change everything. Because if you make it like a tiny little change, it will naturally change over time and it'll just kind of become a part of it and you won't have to like go back and fix anything. Uh, oh my god. Feeling it. It's so close. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, I can see it. Look at the bottom of the screen. There's an end point. I see the finish line. This is very close. I'm excited. Oh my god. There's nothing more relieving than seeing a year's worth of work. And this was I want to maintain this. This wasn't a year's worth of work value wise. This was a year's worth of work with the time I had provided to accomplish it. It took me a year to do this. It didn't take me a year to do this if I could do it more consistently. So, but it was a year's worth of work. Oh my god. Right there. I see it. I see the finish line. Couldn't be more excited. Frankly, I could not be more excited to see the finish line. Frankly, I really did. This is I don't know. I want to vent. I want to vent about this as a life experience that I have. Why is it that when I'm like, okay, I need to get this done by today, I can't do it? I might get this far. Got farther than I fucking thought I would. God damn it. Why does it work this way? I hate it. I hate it here. Why is that a thing? It sucks. Why is it that I do better when I don't go, I need to have this done now. But when I do have that, I do worse. Oh, that sucks. I don't get it. I just don't understand. Trust me, I hate it here too. Uh, but maybe, kind of analyzing that, right, is like, be kind to yourself. Oh, just, I think it's easy to, easy in a negative sense, to put yourself, to give yourself a like deadline, and then to not hit that deadline and go, well, it like reinforces something negative. Whereas if you say, I'm going to allocate this much time and do as much as I can in that time, no matter what, you weirdly accomplish more, I think. I think you accomplish more because there isn't the pressure to hit a deadline. Now, that's not to say that deadlines are always bad. I do want to preface this that deadlines can be helpful and they can be utilized responsibly. I just I have tried. I have tried and tried and oh, this. I have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried to be deadline oriented. It hasn't worked for me. It hasn't. And again, that's not to say that it's not to say that I can't be asked to do something in a period of time. That's not true either. But I just think I actually accomplish more. How do I do that? I didn't mean to do that. I think I accomplish more when my brain goes, get what you can done. Get what you can done instead of get this much done in this time no matter what. I think it goes one of two ways. For me, I either define how much time I have to do something and get as much done as I can, or I define what I need to get done and take as much time as it takes to get that done. I I can't do the third one. And I think, and I hope if this is helpful to anybody, because it might be helpful to me, is I don't know if it's possible. Really don't. If it is, I can't do it. I've tried. I've really genuinely tried. Um, I can do the other two. The third one, I think is an unfair thing to do to yourself and to do to other people. I do not I like it is always going to be better and safer to have the mindset of if I only have so much time, I'm going to work with what I can finish. Or if I have so much that I need to do, I need to take as much time as it's going to take. I think the one that says you have so much you need to do and only this much time just can't do that. I've really tried. I've really tried. I've never succeeded at it. It's not something that works for me. At least not every day. That's the thing. Like, I think I think it's fine to be like, hey, this much needs to be done in XYZ time. Just if I'm not able to accomplish it, there needs to be a contingency to be like, well, okay, fine, you didn't get it done. We'll figure it out from there. Sometimes I just won't. I just won't get everything done. A lot of people don't. And it's not for me working slow. That's for damn sure. I work fast. I know I do. like, this has not been slow. It's been slow because of the whole thing with animation, but the process that I'm doing itself is not actually that slow. Pretty proud of that, by the way. I would say I'm very happy with the fact that what I do is pretty quick. This has been quick overall. Like the moment to moment, I'm very quick, but the process itself took time. Like nothing changed that. Nothing was going to change the fact that the process itself was going to be lengthy. Sorry, I'm thinking for a second. Right there. And it means the next time that I'm faced with this kind of challenge, I'll be able to do certain parts of it faster no matter what. There we go. Hell yeah. I know. Hit Control Y as a way to redo. The superior redo is always going to be Control Shift Z. Do not make it Control Y. Control Y sucks. Do not use Control Y for redo. It fucking sucks. Just saying that. Bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not okay. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Anyways. Interesting. Interesting how that kind of evolved. Like that. Sometimes that's another element, right? Like it just kind of changed. Kind of changed a little bit. Roll with it. Gotta roll with the changes. Get them punches. And do that. Yep. Time. I hate it. That. Like a little. Just show that. Just show this a little behind. This is maybe the one thing that it's good that I'm working on this process to become more consistent. Either way, that also, if it is ultimately something that I might end up struggling with, that I might need to just work into my style, is that as I work on any project like animation, my animation will change fundamentally because I will be doing things differently by the end of it that I wasn't doing before because I hadn't considered doing them until that point. Which is kind of fascinating when you like consider that, right? Like that's kind of an interesting phenomenon to be like, well, my animation fundamentally looks different by the end of it because I'm doing things differently because in the course of working on it I learned things. Which I think is kind of a neat element to animation that I'm probably going to utilize to some extent. Like, that might be why ideally production wise, if you had a forward and then a backward pass, like you move forward and you move backwards, I'm not gonna do that here. I'd go crazy. Note, doing that this time, I've already resolved what the endpoint is. But if I do, you do, you do sketch keys. You do as many sketches as you need. Then you do line. Then you do flats. Then you do render. And if I was to add one final, it would be a backwards pass where you do like all of those together. Like you fix any renders, any um, lines, anything. Like have it available to do that all at once. Is do a backwards pass. I'm not going to do that this time. Not ready for that. I am so done with this piece that I want this piece done. I don't have the mental um drive, say what it is, the drive to put that much more in. I want this done. Ah, yeah, that's kind of an awkward frame that I made for myself. Nothing else. I'm definitely learning a lot about certain elements of how to handle fingers and hands a little bit better. And I'm still taking something away with it. There we go. Like that. Like a little back. A little bit more. A little bit more. Yeah, we'll do like that. We'll do like that. I think that's good. Funny. Want. I definitely want this. Wanted it. Nope, I think we ended there. I might do like something like this, but something like that. Just to give a little texture. A little bumpiness, but not too much. Find those knuckles. Gotta find them knuckles. Yeah, it's freaking. But I actually think that's probably not the way I need to do that anymore. But it's fate. Instant. Like that. a bit of a backline. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Ooh, interesting. It'll actually make this part a lot easier. It'll make this part easier, and the next time I have to draw that a little bit harder because I'll actually have to like go back and like be like, okay, where was that? Here? I don't actually know. Damn you. Damn you. Don't do that. Oops. Holy shit. Just didn't think I was gonna get this close. I just didn't think I was gonna get this close to the end. God damn. I forgot the ooh. Ooh. It boy, I don't like that it keeps doing that now. Stop doing that. Stop doing that, please. I don't like that. Please don't do that. Sorry, I was getting distracted. See, now I gotta process this. Oh yeah, yeah. Right here. That's not that bad. That's not that bad. I thought that'd be way worse. Alright, back to the hands. Back to the hands. That's plain. Yeah, yeah, I see it. Sometimes you just think of it that way. Gotta break it down. Break it down. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks good. I like that. What? What? Oh, I forgot that part. This is gonna be this is gonna be interesting. We have that right there, and then do it like that. Just do it like that. Sort of like that. Oh right. I just there. Does that fix it? Does that fix my problem? No. Why would it fix my problem doing that? Oh, that's why it didn't fix my problem. No, it doesn't work that way. That sucks. So, but I won't need it there. I won't need it there. I need it there. Need it there. Won't need it there. Shit. It's literally the last one I need to do that way. Ain't that just the way? Oh, God. I don't know how it got like this, but, you know, life. You just gotta work with. Sometimes you don't know why something went that way, and then you just gotta go. Grumpy person noises. Moving on. Honestly, this is kind of a nice test in a certain sense because test of like certain things that I do want to like kind of change a little bit. One of them is like just be willing to be like, I do want to go a little bit longer. Like for stuff like this, when I have the time to actually go a little bit. There we go. Good luck with ads. God, it doesn't tell me. I hate it. Well, it would tell me if I actually had this open. I need to remember to have this open so that way I can check. So I can warn people. It just doesn't tell me. It's really frustrating. It should tell me, but it doesn't. Or else I'd warn people and let them know, like, what the fuck is going on. So that way you're not like, ew. I'm sorry. Which likes it when I run hourly ads, so that way I don't have pre-rolls. Nice, actually. That was nice. Got a little distracted there, though. But just leave. Just leave. I'm just leaving that little spot where there's an artifact, and I'm just like, it's not worth my sanity. Ultimately, it's not worth my sanity. Just isn't. And a little bit more. Add some texture there. Just adds a little texture there. No, too much. Too much. Nope. There we go. No. Bad. And I did that. Okay. Didn't do that. Ah, shit. I didn't do it for the last couple one, apparently. Beans. Oh, shit. See that. Add that a little bit, I guess. This is covered. And really, it is ideal to work back to front, but it's always important that you kind of like you just got to start at a point somewhere, and like you start developing the kind of like insight to be able to pick out like, okay, this is how I start at the back and then move forward. It's more of just it's good practice, but it is not required. It will make things work easier, but to a certain extent, you kind of have to fixate on how to do other things first that might go against that ruling. That's fine too. If you get the thing, that that's what's best. That's what you want. That's what you want. But you can't get that thing, worried about stuff like that. There we go. And then I want, so I usually have like this, like something here, right? Dang it, phone. My phone likes to tell me that I have memories, and I'm like, thank you, phone. I don't want to see that. Not important or applicable right now, phone. The weird thing about my phone gallery is it likes to tell me, like, hey, remember this? I'm like, no. Really? Not particularly. Hey, perfect. That kind of worked out. There we go. We sweep it around town. Sweep it around town. All the way around town. Oh, look at it. Oh, look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. 35 frames! I have to draw 35 more frames. So close. Ugh. Hurts me. Pain. Pain. So here's the thing. It's like, this is where I'm at the point that I'm like, do I push it all the way? Here, hold on. 2 o'clock. You know what? You know what? No. No. I'm going to be kind to myself. And I said I only wanted to go to about 2 o'clock anyways. I'm like going to do one more frame. Now we're going to start closing it down. The fact that I see the ending line, though, the fact that I see the ending line, we're there. We're just right there. I think we'll have this done tomorrow. Holy shit. That's great. That's amazing. Close, so close, so close. So close, so close, so close. That's too late. I've been doing it this way, so you gotta do it. But I'm like, that actually probably looks better. That actually probably looks better. Well, ain't that just the way? Sometimes that's just how the roll goes. Sometimes that's just how the roll rolls. There we go. That. That. Maybe a little more like that. Maybe a little bit more like that. There. What matters is that I see that ending point. I see that ending point. I gotta listen to myself. I'm thinking to myself. Got other stuff I gotta do. Also, I actually kind of promised myself that no matter what, I was gonna make this more of a break-focused thing anyways. I need to not push myself, actually, a little bit, because it would defeat the purpose. Part of the time that I'm trying to take. Like I'm still do the things that are important that I need to keep up with, but I'm not going to push myself if I don't have to. And often I think it is fair to say that people don't need to push themselves as often as they think that they do. No, do that. But I will get very like if I will get very close. I will get very close, and if I get like so close that I'm like I'm just this offline. I'll just finish it off online. But I mean, it's good. It's looking good. Promising. You can do it. I don't know why that was happening, but you can do it. That render helps so much. I ultimately the render helps so much, and this has given me a lot to process to like. Okay, this is how I want to go about doing my render from now on for anything. Yeah, yeah, that looks really really good. That looks really 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 good. I like that. It looks good. It feels good. Oh, did I miss? I might have missed. Hold on. I might have missed something. Let me watch. Watch the hair. Watch the back hair. I think there's just a frame I forgot to fill in, which is fine. Watch the back hair. Watch the back hair. You just blinked. I don't know. Yep, nope. There was. I saw it. I saw it. I was like, no. I know it's there. I saw it there. It definitely was there. I think I have it. I probably have it outlined. I just forgot to fill it. Oh no. Didn't. It. Straight up for gore. Straight up for gore. Do that part. Whoopee. Good thing I've gotten really fast at doing this. There we go. Yep, I think that was the only one. Yep, I think that was the only one. We're good now. Don't know what I did there. All right, I'll let that play, and then I'll fix my desk, and then I'm gonna go have lunch. Take some lunch. Some other stuff. Oh boy. But then we'll be back later, doing some other stuff. But before we go, here, let me focus on fixing. I focus on one thing at a time. Dang it. All the way over there. Just on one hand, I like things that are corded. On the other, goddamn, I do kind of see why it's nice when things are wireless. It's nice. All right. Okay. All right. Well, that does it for animation for today. Tomorrow, I think we're gonna get that nice finished. That's gonna be super exciting. Thank you for joining, everybody. We're gonna do one more thing before we go. At the end of every stream, I'm gonna make a prompt, and you guys can help if you'd like. If you want to participate, all you gotta do is type in chat. Whatever chat says, I'll use as a reference. I recommend saying single words, subjects, or nouns, just like objects or subjects. And then I'll take everything the chat says, and we'll make a prompt, and then I have to draw it in 60 seconds in Paint. and it'll share it before we raid out. And because this is a drawing day, I have to do it. I have to do it. Oh, here's some. You know what? Here's one thing we're gonna do more. Before I do that, I'm gonna export everything because I feel like I export after I go offline, and I'm like, I should do it before, so that way it's actually ready for stuff. And the reason why is, well, first, okay, you gotta wait. Okay, we gotta wait. I don't know why it never occurred to me to save and export my work before I stop the stream. It's not like I can't. It's not like I can't. I don't know why. I just thought I had. I thought I was like, I can't do that live. Listen, I don't know why. I don't. Meh. No reason. There's no reason. I just didn't think I should. Didn't think I should do that real fast. And then I'm gonna save. Always save. And we're gonna export. So I do 2 exports. Though one of them I haven't needed to do in a while, but I do it just in case because it's weird. So I usually do an animated GIF first, and then I always scale it down. So that way it compresses it a little bit. Because the full-size one I will need for when I need it, but I don't need it right now. I'd rather work at a bit of a compressed resolution, so that way the file size isn't so big. Reducing the resolution automatically compresses any image. Like, it just kind of compresses it a little. It's not having to draw as many pixels, so it has a natural compression in doing that. Oh, but you're gonna see my file. You're gonna see my files. You don't want to see those. Those are private. I have to wait for the process again because it's got to process the reduced resolution. We'll let it. Yeah, we'll let it do its. I didn't expect it. I'm trying to save that, so I'm actually gonna wait, and we're gonna close this, and then we're gonna export it just in case. All right. Today's date. Now I know what you're saying, Harry. You're doing it wrong, and guess what? Sometimes you just do it wrong so long that until I can find a point at which I can start doing it quote unquote correct, which will probably just be next year. I'm gonna keep doing this notation because it's the way I've always done it, and it's wrong. It's objectively wrong, and I understand why it's objectively wrong, but it's the way I've been doing it forever because I don't actually use this for my file organization. I use the date because you can organize things by the date that they were made. So frankly, it doesn't matter for me. Because typically, don't usually revisit a file. It's mainly just for a backup. Frankly, I could probably archive a lot of these and compress it down so that way they're not taking so much space. We'll see. I might do that. Go ahead and save GIF. That'll take a second. That'll take a second. I'm glad. This is why I saved. This is why I saved. There we go. Yeah, just gotta let it do its computer thing for a second. Then we do it again, just real fast. Video, same thing. 720. Name it. 766. Then this has to go through media. I don't know why this has to go through media encoder. It's weird to me that it has to go through media encoder, but let it do its thing. And I find that typically these days, there was a point where I did need the video file for things. I did need the video file, but I don't really use it much anymore. I mainly only use the GIF. I mean, I guess I need it for Twitter, because Twitter is weird. Twitter doesn't like GIFs anymore. It did at one point, but it just fucking hates GIFs right now. I don't know why. I don't know when that happened. I don't know what changed, but it just doesn't like GIFs anymore. It won't do it. It doesn't like it. Oh well. Well, thank you for joining, everybody. I have that saved now. That's just going to make it easier for certain things. For me here in a bit, I can just more easily. That's nice. Honestly, this is a good thing that I'm doing. I'm going to do this now for the foreseeable future. Is I'm always going to export what I'm going to share before I finish the stream, so that way I'm more prepared to just be like bloop bloop bloop. Okay, bloop bloop bloop. Okay, share the things. So that way, because like people ask for an art tax, and I actually want to give them that art tax. So that'll make it, and they won't have to wait as long, which is nice. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap out. I'm gonna start that picture. I want to. What should I draw? What should I draw? That is a good question. Let me think. Just do a hand. Just do a hand. Just do a hand render. That's fine. We'll just do a hand render in 60 seconds with keyboard and mouse because I can't use my drawing equipment because that's where this is. That's where this is. I can't do that. I'll just draw one of my hands. This is a hand. This is how you draw a hand. That. Look at it. Actual hand. Look at it. It's like an actual hand. The fact that I did this with keyboard and mouse is kind of maddening to me. I made a baby hand. I made a really good baby hand. I kind of hate this. How? Well, stick around to see that. I also do a bit of closing a bit. We do raid at the end of every stream, so that way the vampires in our chat can keep watching. Just everybody else out there, make sure to go lock your... Actually, no. So that way the daywalkers in the chat can keep watching. Just everybody else out there, make sure to go lock your doors and windows. It's almost lunchtime for daywalkers. It's lunchtime for some daywalkers. And thanks for joining, everybody. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you're able to join the live show, thank you for stopping by and chatting. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for taking the time to go back and rewatching the VOD. We appreciate it. If you're out there and you enjoyed this, and you want to see more of what we're up to, I recommend scrolling down below and following or clicking any of the links. There's a link to all the socials and the Discord. We post when we go live on any one of those platforms, as well as anything else that we're up to, and just generally you can come hang out with the rest of the community on there. It's a good time in the Discord. Speaking of which, a shout out to our community there and everyone who follows. You guys are a wonderful. Also, you can find the Discord here. What am I going? What am I doing? Getting distracted. You can go on there. You can talk to people. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to me. You can post stuff if you'd like. If you find a fun picture or something, we got places for everyone and everything on the Discord, I believe. Go post pictures of your dog. If you're gonna do anything on the Discord, go post pictures of your pets. There's a channel for that. I want to see everyone's animals. We love them. Support your animals. Speaking of which, a shout out to our community on the Discord and everyone who follows. You guys are a wonderful audience, and we appreciate you. If we do anything particularly entertaining or noteworthy, feel free to clip it and share it on the internet. Just make sure to also hashtag it with MCCanary, or link it back to the stream so people can find more of the good stuff we do here. And if you want to see the stream grow, gotta let people know. I appreciate that people have been talking about the stream, and I do encourage you guys to do it more. It does help us out. It's just another way that you guys can help support the stream, and I'm just glad that we're doing things that you guys want to talk about. So if you enjoyed this, if you enjoyed listening to me discuss animation at length and kind of figure it out in the meantime, if any of that interests you, definitely go check it out. It's a good time in the Discord. Discord. Definitely go tell your friends about it. Go tell people about it. I won't. And as always, a huge thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon, Coffee, and Twitch. Your generosity allows us to continue to expand the stream as well as take on more projects, and the stream would not be made possible without viewers like you, so we thank you. If you want to see your name added to this list, as well as some other benefits you can get, you can always subscribe directly on Twitch. Check out the Patreon and Coffee here. I post it. Those links will show you everything that you can get. Any amount is always appreciated. Once again, thank you. Definitely go check out the VGen. I feel like I've been putting a lot of work into getting that fleshed out. So if you like my artwork, if you enjoy it, and you want to commission me, I have commissions available on the VGen right now. So definitely go check that out. And make me draw. Make me draw. Make me draw. This is my that's my catchphrase. Make me draw. Thank you to Amatsu, wonderful job of holding back the robot army and preventing it becoming famous. And just thanks for coming and hanging out, everybody. If you're watching this now, if you're watching this in the future, if you're watching the animation work in progresses or the final product, for checking out my stuff. It means a lot. I definitely, moving forward, am just continually doing things that will allow me to focus on this more no matter what. And that's the goal. Is I just want to keep doing this more and more. That's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I want to do. So I really appreciate it either way. We'll get you through housekeeping and get you on your way. Check out the rest of our friends in Goblin Entertainment here. That link tree has links to everyone's channels and everything that they've done and they've been up to, and more of my stuff here, which has everything that I post to. I recommend checking out of that probably the VOD channel the most. Which after this, I'm gonna try to make a pin in the note and say, hey, go make the VOD link. I need to make a link to the VOD channel also below. That would be nice. But go check out the VOD channel, especially if you joined late on this or want to see the work in progresses. I'm posting the work in progresses there for the animation, as well as other places, socials. So you can find links to all that there. And the VOD channel, you also find everything that we've been doing the last couple of years. I've been adding to it continually, and there's some backlog that I need to work on again. We'll see. I might do a little bit of that. I don't know. But either way, that's what you can find everything that we have been doing. If you want to see what we will be doing for the rest of the week, tomorrow, I should be finishing this tomorrow, for fuck's sake. Oh, tonight, we'll be back doing something. We'll be doing something. We might do some hunt. We might do some finals. Just depends. And then tomorrow, I'll be hopefully finishing this animation, and then Saturday, hopefully doing some more games with James and Kenneth. And then we'll be back around on Monday, hopefully doing more Mothership. Wednesday, and then Wednesday we'll be doing more Resident Evil 4 with, we'll be doing more Mothership with Sean and Jackson, and then Wednesday Sean will be playing more Resident Evil 4 with Ari, Lauren, and I. And then we'll be back around here. So if any of that interests you, again, definitely follow. Hit any of the links below. Get on the Discord, do all the things, click all the buttons. Otherwise, everybody have a good afternoon. Keep being awesome, being rad. We'll be back later. We'll be back in a bit. Just gotta go do some other stuff and just go take a break. So take it easy. Something good in the world. Something good in the world. Sleep. Go get sleep, everybody. Let's be honest. Sleep and naps. Go take a rest. Always be willing to give yourself a rest. Just give yourself a rest. You give yourself rests. Sometimes we just need rests. Well, stick around. We'll go say hi to Jenna. We haven't said hi to her. Genticles. She's playing Tarkov, so we'll go say hi to her. See how she's doing. So stick around for that. Otherwise, have a good afternoon. Take it easy. Remember, sometimes just draw a hand right. You just draw a hand correct. I think we just overthink hands. Make a hand shape. Make it hand shaped, and it will come out as a hand. There are really only so many parts of the hand that are that important. I'm kind of mad, but I'm also kind of happy. It goes to show half of it is technique, half of it is process, and half of it is determination. It's three halves. I'm gonna go have a snack slash lunch. Think about what I want for dinner. Take a break. Go take a break. Go give yourself a break. Everybody deserves. You all deserve a break every now. Sometimes the break isn't exactly the break that you want, but get the break that you can get. You take the breaks that you can get. Make a break happen for you. And if it isn't the break you want, they'll take the break that you need. Back. Stay beautiful.